Good morning, Year 3 and 4, and welcome to today's English session. I'm going to be talking you through how to write an explanation text today and the things that you're going to need to include in it. So what is an explanation text? And we went into a little bit about this earlier on in the week with our reading texts. An explanation text tells us how something works or why something happens. So how is it structured? Well, there's a general statement at the start, an introductory paragraph, and it only needs to be 1 or 2 sentences. It doesn't need a lot of detail. So if we go back to the text that we were reading earlier this week, one of the introductory sentences was the internet began in the early 1990s. This tells us it's about 30 years old, and it gives us a summary of what the explanation is going to be about. And it follows then on with a series of steps that tells us how or why something occurs. So going back to the text earlier this week, we had one that was split into paragraphs about the moon orbiting around the earth, then about the earth orbiting around the sun, and then how this impacts on the sun illuminating parts of the moon. These steps continue until the explanation is complete, and then we have a concluding paragraph at the end which summarises the whole explanation. So features. Explanation texts are written in the present tense. So for example, the moon orbits the earth tells us that this is happening now. They have conjunctions that signal time. So for example, then, next, or after that. Referring back to our instruction text before the holidays, you could also look at our time adverbial song, as these can be used in your explanations. And they're written using subordinate conjunctions. So for example, because, so, or with, because these give us reasons why something happens. So we'll have a title explaining what it's going to be about. It'll have an introductory paragraph, clear and simple points about how or why something occurs or happens. Technical words, words that are related specifically to that explanation and that topic. Conjunctions, the present tense, and a concluding paragraph. So the title and introduction. Use a clear title that indicates what your writing is going to be about. And decide whether you want to use diagrams or illustrations to help explain these. If you do use diagrams or illustrations, try to include a caption to tell us what that diagram or illustration is representing. What does it show? Using how or why in the title will help. And use the first paragraph to introduce the subject to the reader. Try to make the title intriguing. So for example, why do sloths hang about? It makes the person want to read on. So organise the writing and illustrations to explain how it works, why something works, when and where it works, and what it is used for. And these will be clear from the paragraphs that you're using in your explanation. Also, add in a bit of extra information and keep your writing interesting. It's really important that the reader is engaged and they want to carry on reading your explanation. So, interest the reader with an exclamation or a question. Beware, whirlwinds can kill. Or did you know? Just like we used in our non-chronological reports. Remember, an explanation is a non-fiction text, so some of the features will be very similar to those that we've used previously when writing other types of non-fiction writing. So interest the reader. Strange as it may seem, not many people know that. Phrases that will grab the interest. So the ending. Finish it by drawing all the ideas together in a concluding paragraph. Again, it doesn't have to be very long, only 1 or 2 sentences is fine. And reread the explanation. You have to pretend that you know nothing about this explanation. Does it make sense? Can somebody pick that up who's never heard about it before and understand what they're reading? So good luck with your explanation text year 3 and 4. Mr. Worth and I are looking forward to reading them when you email them across. Speak to you soon.